I want spicy. What is in this sauce? Garlic and what?
I can do this with my eyes
Garlic
closed.
butter and spicy butter. Guys, that sauce is
Too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. Too easy.
What's up, you guys? Welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Leslie. In this video, we're going to be having some fun. We're going to be rating my least to most favorite Southeast Asian countries. So last year, guys, I had the pleasure of visiting 7 countries in the region. Technically 6 because one of them is not quite in the Southeast, but it's close enough that we're going to throw it into this ranking. Whew. I feel like this video is going to be a lot of fun, but I feel like some people might get a little bit pissed off at some of the things that I'm going to say, but don't take it personal. It's just my opinions, you know. Don't come for me, don't at me, don't try to fight me. All right, so let's get into the ranking. So coming in at the bottom of the list at number 7 is Singapore. What? Yeah, I know. Some people might find this shocking because Singapore is one of the most sought after destinations in the world. There are a lot of pros to Singapore, I'm not gonna lie. Like, for example, the country is very beautiful, it's very clean, it's very green, it's very safe. It's very, very walkable, especially as a female. If you're concerned about safety when you're solo traveling, Singapore is a good option for you. You don't got much to worry about. One of my favorite things about Singapore is the public transportation system is very organized. As somebody who considers herself, rightfully so, geographically challenged, if I could easily navigate Singapore's public transportation system, trust me, you can too. The other thing I appreciated about Singapore is it has a little bit of diversity going on. There are a lot of Chinese influence in the country. You'll find like Malaysians, Singaporeans, of course. And then there are people who are from all walks of life because Singapore is an international business hub. So you'll find people internationally who work there. And a lot of people speak English. So if you're an English speaking person and you don't know how to speak another language, Singapore, you won't find problems. I personally, in my opinion, I feel like Singapore has a great seafood scene, and if you're a seafood lover, there are lots of options for you at many places, including what they call hawker centers, which are these open air food complexes where you can go and buy food for really cheap. That being said though, guys, I don't think there is so much more going on in Singapore when you take away like the Marina Bay and Sentosa and 1 or 2 other spots. I feel like there's not much going on. It's one of those destinations that you visit for like 3 days, maximum 1 week, and you get out of there because you're gonna exhaust everything so quickly. And I can understand because it is pretty much a very small country. It's one of the smallest countries in the world. The other thing I didn't like about Singapore, to be really honest, is gonna sound silly and like, girl, what? But this is my honest thought. I felt like I found it too perfect. It's too clean, too organized, just too perfect, you know? I was like, I want a little bit of chaos. You know, just a little bit of ratchetness would have been nice. Okay, coming in at number 6 is Malaysia. This one is really interesting because Malaysia is such a rainy country and I was there for a week, and that week it rained the whole time. So I didn't do much, mostly ate and slept. So I don't have a lot of opinions on Malaysia other than the fact that I feel like it's a nice place to go and eat and sleep. Okay, I'm kidding, I'm totally kidding. Malaysia, okay, Malaysia is a very diverse country. I was shocked at the level of diversity, guys. It's like a melting pot with all kinds of people, especially Asians. So you have Indians, you have Chinese, you have Singaporeans, you have Malaysians. There's just a lot of people, Africans. You can find your place in one of those communities very easily. The other thing I liked about Malaysia, I think they have delicious food. Because of how diverse they are, Malaysian food is a beautiful blend of a mixture of different types of food and cultural inspiration. And the food reminded me a lot about some of the food reminded me of some of the foods that I ate growing up in Liberia. The other thing I really liked about Malaysia is the fact that I felt like you can get really affordable flights to fly to other parts of the region from Malaysia. And also it is in close proximity to Singapore. So if you're in Singapore, you're in Malaysia, you can literally literally take a bus for anywhere between $12 to $14 to get from one country to another. Okay, so coming in at number 5 is the Philippines. The Philippines is a very beautiful country in terms of landscape, islands, water. If you want blue waters, bluest of the bluest of bluest of the waters, Philippines is your destination. They also have like beautiful aqua life, sardines, sea turtles, and all kinds of sea animals. I also love the fact that Filipinos are some of the friendliest people in the world. Oh my gosh, they are so over the top friendly and super warm. I like the fact that similar to Philippines, like Singapore, a lot of people there speak English. So if English is your only language, you should be fine getting by in the Philippines. Okay, so now to the thing that I didn't like about the Philippines. Don't come for me, guys, but I didn't like the food. I asked so many Filipinos, can you tell me your favorite Filipino food? Everybody said adobo, 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 adobo. And every try I gave adobo, I didn't like it. I did like a soup that they call sinigang. That's my favorite. It's really sour. And if you're not into things that are tart or sour, you're not gonna have an appreciation for it. Even outside of just like Filipino food, just food in general in the Philippines, I just really didn't find a lot that I enjoyed. And I was actually shocked because when people speak of Filipino food in America, they speak of it as being very tasty. So when I went to Philippines, I was like, where's the tasty food at? Where at? You know? As a foodie, I just find it very hard to rank a country high on my list if the food isn't hitting the spot. And I'm not one to really be picky when it comes to food. I am notorious for eating whatever and enjoying whatever. My sister literally teases that you could give me poop and I'll be like, that's the most delicious poop ever. The other thing I didn't like about the Philippines, especially in Manila, is the traffic. Lord, the traffic. You're just sitting there hours and hours in traffic. And you're just like, why? And traffic is not moving. So coming in at number 5 is Indonesia. What a beautiful country. If you're into chasing waterfalls, Indonesia is your spot, especially Bali. I love the fact that Indonesia has lots of different islands, the busy, the party ones, the ones that are chill where you can go hide away and be in your little corner and nobody's bothering you. I also love the fact that Bali specifically, because that's where I visited, is so rich in culture. I love the way the men dress. They wear this like thing that is called sarong. It's like a skirt and they tie this like thing around their head. Is so beautiful to me that even in modern days, they still maintain their culture. And they are very open about their religious practices. They're very family oriented people. A lot of people in Bali still live in what they call compounds with their families, and those compounds have been passed from generations to generations. So I think that Bali or Indonesia in that respect is very beautiful. I also love the fact that Indonesia has some pretty good food, you know? I mean, I feel like when you find some spot with good food, the food tends to be really good. My favorite spot that if you're there, you have to check out is called Sambal Shrimp. I think it's the best seafood in Indonesia. Not that I've tried all the seafood restaurants there, but the food there is so good. Like, I was super addicted, and I will drop the link in the description box for you guys. Okay. Having said that, I do think Bali is a tad bit, or maybe a little bit overrated. And I think the reason I say it is because people hype it up so much that my expectations were like super high. Like, I was expecting the world, the moon, the stars, the clouds, the galaxy, the universe, all of them. And while it's a beautiful country and a beautiful place to be, I was just kind of like a little bit disappointed in just like some things. So for instance, I didn't feel like it has like accessibility to certain things, or like certain products or like certain conveniences and things like that. I also found it to be overcrowded. The other thing I didn't appreciate about Bali, to be honest, this one is specifically for Canggu. So Canggu is like the digital nomad hub in Bali. It just, the sidewalks are so narrow and there are mopeds flying all over the place. There's hardly anywhere to walk. And as somebody who loves to take walks, I didn't appreciate that, because in the evening I'm like, I can't even do an evening walk without feeling like I'm gonna get hit by a moped or something. Okay, coming in at number 4, Vietnam. I love Vietnam. Seriously, I love Vietnam. Vietnam has a special place in my heart. That country is so fun in my opinion. I feel like it's so rich in culture as well, and they have like the coolest and most fun boat rides. Vietnam also has a little bit of everything for everybody. If you're into city life, if you're into conveniences of a big city, you can go to Ho Chi Minh, you can go to Hanoi. If you want a little bit of, you know, like throwback feel, layback, there are also spots in Hanoi that you can go and visit. If you're into beach vibes, you got Da Nang. If you're into what else? Old school vibes or like throwback vibes, culture, you can go to Ho An. So Vietnam just has a little bit of everything. And I also like the fact that it's super affordable. It's a very affordable country. However, let me give you the things that I personally did not appreciate about Vietnam. Whew, I feel like people will harass you to buy their stuff. It gets to be overwhelming that sometimes they will even send kids to come and like convince you to buy things, and it's easy for personally for me. Even if when I couldn't afford it, I felt guilty. I was like, damn, this little kid is coming to me to like looking all sad, and I can't even help this kid because, you know, it's just what it is. And I feel like when you buy, if you try to help one kid and you buy something that you may not even need just to help the child out, another child comes and you are just like bombarded with people that are just like swarming you and begging you for favors and to buy from them. And they make you feel guilty for not buying. It almost like they make it seem like it's your obligation to buy from them. So that's one thing that I didn't appreciate about Vietnam. The other thing I didn't appreciate about Vietnam is it's chaotic. I love the chaos in a way. Remember how I told you one of the things I didn't like about Singapore was it's too perfect and I needed a little bit of chaos? Okay, I feel like Singapore and Vietnam needs to have a conversation. They need to come together and like learn how to like balance chaos of each other. I feel like Vietnam chaos is a little bit over the top, and it's mainly in transportation, honestly. The street lights, they are little to non-existent in a lot of places. You have mopeds flying all over the streets, up and down, up and down. They barely stop for anyone, and you kind of have to be able to like, you have to get used to being able to cross the street. And I know it may seem trivial to some people, but I found it frustrating sometimes that I wasn't able to cross the street. Sometimes I would literally stand in a spot for like a couple of minutes because I was trying to like figure out how to cross the street. I will say I was also a little bit disappointed with the food in Vietnam. For me, I found it to be a hit or miss. When it was good, it was really good. But when it was a miss, it was a big miss. And it kind of pissed me off because my expectations for food in Vietnam was pretty high. You know what I'm saying? But I think people were saying too, part of my problem was that I don't eat meat, and some of the foods just didn't go well with like pescatarian style. Like I needed to eat like pho, for instance. Okay, so coming in at number 2, I think it's number 2. This one is not in Southeast Asia, but it's close enough, so I threw it on the list. It's Taiwan. Whew, guys, Taiwan was an unexpected love story. Taiwan is the love story that I didn't see coming at all. Okay, Taiwan, I just went to Taiwan on a whim. I was like, why not go check Taiwan out? I'm not gonna lie, the first week that I got there, I wasn't quite feeling it. A lot of people in Taiwan do not speak English. A lot of people speak Chinese or Mandarin. So right off the bat, the language barrier already started to bother me. I was like, there's no way I'm gonna stay long in this place because I can't communicate with anyone. Like, what's up? And also, I feel like the first week I went there, it just seemed really gloomy. It just didn't seem like my vibe. But after the second week, I started to venture out. I left the city, I moved around the city a lot, and then I left the city, I went to other parts of the country. And baby, did I fall in love with Taiwan. It's one of my favorite countries in the world. I will actually love to live in Taiwan. It is super organized, super clean, super bougie. Like, Taiwan is like next level bougie. I mean, when you go to the convenience stores in Taiwan, you will be like, is this really a convenience store? They have really nice places for you to sit down and grab a bite. They have like sweet potatoes, hot sweet potatoes, and boiled eggs at the countertops for cheap. I mean, Taiwan is just a vibe. And they have like the best night markets. Oh my God, I love Taiwan night markets. They have the best night markets. The food there is very delicious. Yeah, it just really felt like home after a while, and I just couldn't explain it because people there don't speak English. People there don't look like me. It's such a very different place, but it just felt so familiar and it started to feel like home. The people there are super friendly and super warm. Let's chat about Taiwan a little bit. So Taichung, I think I should bring the camera closer. Okay, that's much better. I was trying for you guys to get like a wide view of the place, but anyway. So my thoughts on Taiwan, I think the people are great. The language barrier is a thing, but the way you overcome that is using Google Translate. Sometimes it's a little bit of a struggle to do that, especially if I'm vlogging or I'm trying to record, because a lot of times I use my phone. So that's about it. But the people here are great. They're super, super helpful. Like, even with a language barrier, they will offer, like, I can tell you how many times I've been to a restaurant with everything, the menu in Chinese, and somebody random will just be like, do you understand what you're going to order? Or they will insert themselves in the situation. So I think they're one of the top friendly people I've encountered. And the crazy thing is, when you come here, especially in Taichung, you don't see any black person here. It's the second largest city in Taiwan, but you don't see people like me here. But nobody seems to care. Everybody is just going about their normal business. Nobody's staring at me. Even when I have a camera out talking to the camera looking like a crazy person, nobody seems to really care. So it's a beautiful country. The food here is great. What else? The people, the food, it's super safe. So it's one of the safest countries in the world. It has a really good rating for walking. And I'm a testimony to that because I'm pretty much walking everywhere using Google Maps and getting lost while I'm at it. And nothing has happened to me yet. I don't think anything will happen to me. So, yeah. And the nature scene out there is surprisingly beautiful. Like, driving from one region or one part of the country to another is amazing. Did I talk about seafood? Because if you're a seafood lover, there's a spot in Taiwan that you have to visit. I will drop more information on that in the description box. But overall, guys, Taiwan is a vibe. It would have been probably on #1 on this list if it wasn't for the language barrier and the fact that they are not as diverse as other countries in the region. So, that being said, drum roll please! My #1 most favorite country in Southeast Asia. This is probably not going to be shocking to a lot of people because so many people love this country, and rightfully so. Coming in at #1 is Thailand. Thailand, oh my God, I love this country. Thailand has it all. Thailand is that girl. There's nothing Thailand is lacking. Okay, I'm sure it's lacking something, but you get the idea. Thailand is such a fun country. It's such a diverse country. Diverse in terms of like different offerings. Like, it's so rich in culture. If you want party, if you want nightlife, Thailand has it. If you're into animals, Thailand has it. If you're into city life, Thailand has it. If you're into spirituality and you need to get away in like quietness, Thailand has it. Beach vibe, Thailand has it. There's like nothing that Thailand doesn't have. And when it comes to food, honey, when it comes to good food, Thailand is that girl. Thailand has super affordable food, very delicious. You can find all kinds of food, from Thai food to food from all kinds of countries. And the other thing I like about Thailand is the fact that it's so diverse in terms of the fact that you will see people from all walks of life, which is also the thing that I kind of sort of don't like about Thailand. I feel like Thailand is swamped with foreigners, which is an irony because I'm a foreigner and I was there and I loved it. I literally love Thailand so much that I went back there 3 times last year. I was like in and out of the country. Every time I experience like fatigue, because when you're traveling for such a long time, it's very easy to experience travel fatigue. So every time I would experience extreme fatigue, I will always run to Thailand to go and rest. It's cheap, it's very affordable, and it has everything I need. So I was like, I'm going to Thailand. So yeah, the thing I didn't like about it was like, some places like Chiang Mai, for instance, it was just like overcrowded with foreigners. All you saw was just foreigners. It was hard to like really see local people other than like service workers to really interact with the locals. So that was a little bit of challenge, you know, and the thing that I didn't like. Also, Bangkok, the traffic just makes no sense. When you go to Bangkok, just accept that you're going to be in traffic for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. But all that said, Thailand is a vibe, and it's another country too in Southeast Asia where I would totally love to live, even if it's just a year. We'll see what the future holds. I hope you found this video fun, and I hope this video gives you some type of insights on some of the countries in Southeast Asia that you may be considering visiting. Honestly, any of these countries, if you visit, it's not going to be a wrong choice, but these are just my favorite to my least favorite and why. Alright, I will see you next time with a lot more fun videos and some travel vlogs coming soon your way. Until next time, bye bye!